Welcome to Leadership 155-101. This leadership workshop is designed for teaching high school students and early college students the basic fundamentals of leadership. This workshop is brought to you by the leadership program at the Haas School of Business, University of California at Berkeley. The purpose of this workshop is to define leadership and provide you with the tool to be an effective leader. The program is broken down into 5 parts. First is defining leadership and authority. Second, introduce you to the principles of an effective leader. Third, run you through the process of small group development. Fourth, leadership of self. And fifth, the danger of leadership. With no further ado, we hope you sit back and enjoy this workshop.
It's important to separate the difference between leadership and authority. So first, authority is conferred power to perform a service. We look to authority for direction, protection, and order. In primate societies, gorilla society centers around one adult silverback male with a clear hierarchy among the remaining silverbacks. With them, leadership is authority, but this only serves as a parallel to humans for the roots of authority. Authority is restricted by societal norms and expectations, and because it is part of an exchange, it can be given and can be taken away. Leadership is social influence, mobilizing people to tackle tough problems. It's an activity. Anyone can lead, including people from above and from below. So leading from above is the kind of leadership we're most familiar with. It means inspiring people to achieve adaptive solutions for problems. Adaptive challenges are challenges that can only be addressed through changes in people's priorities, beliefs, habits, and loyalties, as opposed to technical challenges which have known solutions. Leading from below means that people have to focus on creativity and innovation, and entails challenging the status quo and focusing on influence rather than control.
Kouzes and Posner, in their book The Leadership Challenge, focus on 5 main qualities of an effective leader, which are model the way, inspire a shared vision, challenge the process, enable others to act, and encourage the heart. So let's start with modeling the way. To lead, you have to be a good example and do what you say. In order to gain commitment and achieve high standards, leaders must be models of the behavior they expect from others, have their own voice, and give voice to others. Another important aspect is paying attention to details, such as spending time with someone working side by side, telling stories that makes values come alive, asking questions to get people to think about values and priorities, etc. Modeling the way is about earning the right and respect to lead through direct involvement and action. People follow the person first and then the plan. Inspire a shared vision. Leaders inspire shared visions. They have a desire to change things and are not afraid to do so. However, they cannot command commitment, but they can inspire it and enlist others in common vision. Leaders represent their passion for a shared vision through language and style. Challenge the process. Leadership involves challenge and change, and leaders are the ones who challenge the process. To lead to the greatness, a leader needs to seek and accept challenge, as well as be willing to step out of comfort zone and known. Leaders are familiar with experimenting and taking risks. They take control of challenging situations and commit to change. While challenging the process, learning is key. Enable others to act. Team effort, trust, and strong relationships are some of the greatest leadership values. Leaders have to enable others to act to achieve extraordinary things. It is proven that people work better when they feel trusted. Leaders understand it is essential to let others act. Encourage the heart. Leaders know the importance of caring about others. Write a personal thank you note to someone who you loved working with, or show any other little sign of appreciation. People like to be applauded for their work, and it makes them feel good about themselves. Great leaders recognize and acknowledge contributions of others. They create a culture that celebrates values and victories. At the end of the day, leadership is a relationship between those who lead and those who choose to follow, and the quality of this relationship matters the most.
Effective listening is an important way to learn about people without making assumptions. The heart and the head are always interconnected. Specifically, we call this affect and cognition. The heart is affect, or the emotional reaction we have, while the head, or cognition, is the logical reasoning we have as a reaction to information. When receiving sensitive information through listening, sometimes our affect or emotion can stop us from being able to think cognitively or logically. Discovering is not the same as deciding when listening. It requires a different set of questions and a different mindset. A discovering mindset is curious about what the person has to say and does not make assumptions or fill in the blank. Rather, a good listener will take the person's word at face value. When listening, you are not trying to judge the person, but rather learn more about their perspective or opinions. In order to be a good listener, use open-ended questions such as what, how, can you give me an example, tell me more. Further, put their words into the question you ask them. This will help the listener from making assumptions or taking the person's message the wrong way. Do what you say you will do is very important. Leaders are judged based on how well they follow through on their promises. Many people can talk the talk, but it is tougher to follow through. Thus, credibility is the currency of leadership. Not following through is the easiest way to lose respect as a leader. Moving forward from do what you say you will do, if you lose credibility or respect as a leader, your message will not be appreciated. Once you are realized to not follow through or be a poor leader, even if your message is quality, people will not listen to you.
It's important to learn how a group dynamic can be formed, sustained, and fail. It is not as simple as forming a random mix of people and hoping for the best. Effective leaders know how a group develops and the different roles people can play towards either the success or failure of the group. According to Tuckman and Jensen, the 4 stages of group development are forming, storming, norming, and performing stages. In the forming stage, group members start to get to know each other, and the ice is broken within the group. People start to assign tasks amongst each other, and some goals are set for the group to accomplish. During the storming stage, group members begin to encounter conflicts between others' working styles. Some may not plan much and wait until the last minute to complete projects, like a perceiver according to the Myers-Briggs typology, while others want to have a set schedule and accomplish little things leading to the final project, like a judger. Many groups tend to fall apart at this stage because people are ultimately unable to find workarounds for these conflicts. At the norming stage, group members begin to resolve their differences and create solutions for intra-group conflicts. This leads to members developing appreciation and respect for each other. And finally, at the performing stage, there is an established structure and process for the group, and group goals are being achieved. It is crucial to understand how group members play into the group dynamic, as it can determine how a group functions and whether the group ends up succeeding or failing. Ben and Sheets discuss the different types of roles people may take in a group setting. People who take the position of a task role try to get the work done. This category involves the initiator, information and opinion seekers, and information and opinion givers, to name a few. The initiator tries to propose original ideas or different ways of approaching questions in an attempt to get the group to start thinking outside the box. Information and opinion seekers try to ask others for clarification or for their opinions on an idea. Information and opinion givers complement these seekers as they provide the facts or give their opinion of an idea. People who take the position of a personal and social role contribute to the positive functioning of the group and support team cohesion. This category involves the encourager and gatekeeper, to name a couple. The encourager supports others' ideas and motivates members to follow up with those ideas. This type of person also has a lot of positive energy. A gatekeeper makes sure that everyone has a fair chance of contribution and regulates the flow of information amongst the group. They try to encourage the shy, soft-spoken people to contribute while preventing outspoken people from dominating a conversation. Finally, people who take a dysfunctional and individualistic role disrupt the group process and weaken its cohesion, preventing the group from functioning. This category involves the aggressor and recognition seeker, to name a couple. The aggressor constantly attacks others' opinions or ideas, preventing some from contributing to the group work out of fear of being shot down. The recognition seeker always looks for personal attention from the group, causing the group to become sidetracked from its main goal due to the lack of focus.
Leadership is not only about leading others, but also about developing ourselves so that we can have a deeper understanding about our own strengths and weaknesses. However, there is a subpersonality in us that over-focuses on our weaknesses, judging and demeaning us, and this is called the inner critic. Inner critic is something that we all have within ourselves that criticizes us so that we are motivated to perform better. The inner critic wants you to be okay, but it just doesn't know when to stop. There is a family of inner selves: the pleaser, the rule maker, the pusher, and the perfectionist. First, the pleaser makes people attracted to others to ensure that they are cared for. Just like babies. Babies try to make themselves look cute and adorable to attract attention from their parents to ensure that they get food every now and then. The pleaser tries to make others happy so that we in turn will be happy. Secondly, the rule maker makes up the rules about what kind of person we should be and what kind of characteristics are unacceptable. For example, you may think that stealing is not right, being late is not acceptable, and burping in front of your friends is not appropriate. Our inner critic tries to live up to the standards set by the rule maker. Thirdly, the pusher motivates us to achieve goals. When you feel demotivated, there is an inner voice that constantly urges you to continue to work hard. The pusher could be a little too ambitious sometimes, but it does get you to move. Last but not least, the perfectionist is developed to help people succeed in the world. It sets a standard for perfection. For example, we may set the standard that a good student should get A- or above in every subject. With that said, the inner critic can help us become a better person and achieve more things. However, it just doesn't know when to stop. It has been a part of us since we were children to protect us from being shamed or hurt. We should be aware whether it is overdoing the criticism, then we should confront it. We can confront it using the 5-to-1 ratio rule. It means that for every one negative comment we have for ourselves, there will be 5 positive ones to balance it out. Begin appreciating yourselves for the small things first, like how you were able to wake up on time, contribute to class discussions, or help out a friend. Praises for yourself will accumulate, and sooner or later, you will be a happier and more positive person. And the positivity in you will positively influence others too. The 5-to-1 ratio also applies to leadership in your club, organization, or team. Research shows that high-performance business teams have a positive to negative comment ratio of 5.6 to 1, while poor-performing teams were at 0.36 to 1. This shows the importance of giving positive comments. In your team, appreciate the strengths of your teammates and try to give them solid positive comments instead of negative ones unless necessary. That way, team members will feel more loyal to your group, which results in higher morale and team productivity.
Danger of leadership. Leadership is a rewarding but simultaneously potentially dangerous activity. Leadership involves challenging society's mainstream norms, beliefs, and habits. Oftentimes, it pushes people out of their comfort zone and trying something new. Moving on to the face of danger. The first one, marginalization, where people raise a different perspective against the norm. In this example, Glenn Williams, head of programs involving intercity youth at the New England Aquarium, was marginalized due to him being the only African American man and him being without any formalized academic training. His role as raising money to hire minority interns also created tension within the entire organization, as regular interns questioned why they were not being compensated. Ultimately, because the aquarium did not share Williams' version of making the aquarium more racially diverse, Williams left the organization. The next one, seduction, which means that you lose a sense of purpose. Example, Marty, Chief Secretary for Massachusetts Governor William Weld, pushed too earnestly for certain liberal interest groups like gay rights and women's rights. As a result, he was viewed as a hyper-liberal activist who carried an unpopular idea. His opinion on other topics was disvalued, and he became somewhat of an annoyance to the rest of the team. Diversion. Losing focus on your agenda. Martin Luther King Jr. was enticed by advocacy groups who opposed the Vietnam War. As a result, King lost the impact he could have had without focusing on the Vietnam War had he solely focused on the civil rights movement. Because he devoted his time and energy to this Vietnam War movement, he also lost footing in the civil rights movement in the Deep South. And finally, attack. Attack can occur when opponents turn the subject of the conversation from the issue you're advancing to personal remarks on your character. Example: in the 2000 presidential election, George Bush used the vulgarity to describe Adam Clymer, a New York Times political reporter, in regards to some articles that Clymer had written. However, this was picked up on the media instantly, and the media turned to attacking Bush's personal character rather than focusing on the political issues at hand. And moving on, the heart of danger. It's very possible that the danger of leadership can take a more physical form, violence. One of the more prominent examples was Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin. Yitzhak Rabin's platform in Israel was to unite Palestine and Israel and to give Palestinians some land. However, this idea was rejected by right-wing activists in Israel, and as a result, he was assassinated by them.
Finally, we would like to leave you with a final piece of advice about failures. It is composed of two parts. First, developing your goals and vision to help you confront failure. And second, understanding that failure grows you. Developing your goals and vision to help you confront failures. It is often difficult to maintain our clear vision and objective when we grow up and try to make ourselves into the professional world. This is because there are obstacles and challenges that we will have to consider and encounter. So how can we overcome these challenges? Dan Mulhern, a professor of leadership at Haas, with decades of leadership consulting experience, has a principle of think from right to left. Imagine your goals in 10, 20 years ahead, and then break down into small plans, baby steps that you could make to get there. As your goals are aligned with your vision, this enables you to strengthen the plan of becoming the person that you want to be. Even when there's down after every up moment, you have known your formula to become successful. Understanding that failure grows you. Imagine a rubber band. There's a stretch between your current reality and your vision in the future. When the rubber band is stretched, it isn't broken. Now that your reality is on the left side of the band and your vision is on the right side, you have to perceive that your mentality must be as strong and as resilient as the rubber band. Regardless of things that might happen, you have to maintain your goal and not giving up pursuing it. Accepting failures by challenging your learning process. This works well individually and also in a group setting. Challenging the process can be taught as taking initiatives and risks, experimenting new things, tackling challenges puts you outside the comfort zone, expose you to trying on new things and eventually getting good at it. Challenge is a learning process and it makes you become a much better person. Remember, only challenges produce the opportunity for greatness. Think of any difficult situation as it is the chance or opportunity for you to learn how the world works, and it would be a persisting experience that goes with you throughout your life. There's an example of challenges given from Dan Mulhern's class. Henry Ford healthcare system in 2006 experienced new hospital design. They designed a hospital in a hotel-like appearance, which made their place more competitive with a higher standard, with private room and comfort care for their patients. There's an example of failures. Walt Disney found a company called Laugh or Gram Corporation, his first film studio, and it went bankrupt in 2 years. Before then, he was even fired from the Kansas City Star, a newspaper company, because of his lack of creativeness. He consistently failed in his career life before becoming a famous person with his Walt Disney Company and the king of the entertainment industry.